Looking at buying a vintage Kirby? Then this is the video for you. Don't forget, if you use the video today, there are links in the description below for the best place to get those Kirby products, so make sure you check those out at the end of this video. Hi Kirby fans, welcome back to the channel. Now, a lot of people are looking at buying older Kirbys, and a lot of them do for collection reasons, but some people do it because they're not a big fan of the tech drive. So we're going to go through some of the older models I've got, the pros and cons of them, and what one's best for you to buy in 2023. So let's dive straight into it. Hi Kirby fans, so today we've got 5 Kirby vintage models. I can't go any further back because these are the vintage Kirbys I have. Now, if you're a collector, you may want to go further back than this, but I think from a buyer's perspective, the furthest you want to go back is probably the Classic 3, or even that, the Kirby Tradition. But that's probably as far as I would go back. So around 1978, 77, I can't remember offhand when this one was released. I will put information down below on that as well. We've got the Kirby Classic 3. Now, they all come with their own advantages and disadvantages. I will put all card above linking to the CFM on this. This is a fantastic machine and it's as powerful as the Avalir 2 today. The only difference with this is this has got a shakeout bag. Now, I'm not a fan of canister vacuums. I don't like vacuums that you empty and dust out. Again, it's carcinogenic. Kirby did pull away from that, and that's why Kirby make bagged vacuums, purely because the dust, carcinogenic, and it's a lot more healthier for you to use a disposable bag than to be tipping it out of a canister or out of a shakeout bag. So that's the only pet hate I've got about the Classic 3. Now, there is a conversion you can do to this, and again, I will put a link to a video at the end of this one to that. So there's quite a few things you can do. With the Classic 3, you've got the shakeout bag, and then Kirby changed it to a disposable bag or a shakeout bag, and they ran the shakeout bag right up to the Legend 2. Now, that was an option up until 1991. I have proven that shakeout bags are a lot more powerful than the paper bags, but again, you can convert them to the HEPA filter system and use the latest Kirby bags in that Kirby. So I'll jump in, I'll show you the differences between the shakeout bag and the paper bag, and then I'll show you what paper bag they use and then what Kirby changed it to as we go through the generations. Now look at the Kirby Classic 3 and the Tradition. There's not a lot of difference between them. Obviously you've got a red and a blue. Kirby did change that to disposable bags, which I'll show the system in a second. So the belt hooks changed a little bit. So as you can see on the Classic 3, we've got these little hooks here. On the Tradition, we haven't got those, so these may have been liable to fall off. We've got a release valve on here, so if this got more airflow and was sucking up match, you could reduce that airflow by just opening that release valve. And then on the Tradition, they actually did away with that. The headlight looks roughly the same, a little bit of a hood difference here. That's around it. Bumper's the same, head's the same. Now you may notice on these, there was no light on here to tell when the belt was running. You could only check it through this inspection hole, or you could actually lift it up and just check it was running underneath. Obviously not by putting your fingers in, but just actually look and check the belt was spinning correctly. If you smelt burning rubber like the later Kirbys, then obviously it was spinning and it needed the belt changing. Now look at the Classic 3, because you had a shakeout bag, what you had was a zip on here, and in there was a little scraper. So when you put your hand in, you can feel it, but you can't see it. So you'd have a scraper and you just scrape down the inside of that bag, get all that dirt down. Then you'd have all the sani empty out, so you'd open that, push that forward. That would then have all the rubbish on there, and you just tip that out. So we've got a little bit of dust, a little bit of sand. That's about it. There's a seal on there, and that was how you would physically empty the machine. And then you just lock that back on and you're ready to rock and roll again. Now looking at the front of the machine, your safety switch was fitted here. We have got a Lexan fan in there. These did come with metal fans. Some people prefer the metal fans. I prefer the plastic ones. They're a lot easier to change, especially if you suck up anything. But this safety switch stayed at the bottom here on the Classic 3 and continued on the Kirby Tradition. Now both Kirbys came with your normal height adjustment for your different carpets. The Kirby wheels were hidden. Then onto the Kirby Tradition, they actually exposed them on that later design. We've still got the on-off switch in the same place, and we've still got the lock system for our handle fitted here and over here. Now the Kirby Tradition, it did run on these paper bags, and this ran up till 1984, so they continued this on to the Heritage 84. These are a lot harder to get hold of, so I did convert mine to HEPA filtration. This was the original system that was actually fitted to it. You can see that pipe's really thin. Now I did do a conversion with the Kirby Tradition to that HEPA filtration system, and it's really easy to do. That's purely if you want to keep that sani emptier looking the same. Otherwise there is a conversion you can do, which is a lot quicker and a lot easier. but you will lose the original look of that Kirby Tradition Sunny Emptier. Now the bags on the Kirby Tradition and the Classic 3 and beyond that, they were like a little hook system here. It wasn't the best, it did work, was efficient, but Kirby did change that onto the Heritage 84 when they changed it to the newer design that they carried on up until the Legend 2. Now as Heritage 84, Kirby did convert this to use disposable bags. They did change the hose system on it, but it was still oval paper bag system that you had to use. Now you made notes the Heritage 84 belt lifter has changed. They did away with that inspection chamber. It did tend to melt over time, so that was probably one reason they did away with that. We've got the headlight assembly stays the same. But as we look at the Heritage 84, they've moved the safety switch here. These are a lot more accessible now, and what you find with the older Kirbys now, the safety switches are starting to break and they're getting very hard to get hold of, but you can still get hold of these for your Heritage 84 right up to your Legend 2. We've still got the same fan system, and Kirby did keep that Sunny empty out for any jewellery or coins you might have picked up by mistake. So you can see on the back, the wheels are exposed, same as the Kirby Edition, and this stayed on up until the Legend 2. Now with the Kirby bag system, this zip just feels a little bit stiffer to me compared to a Heritage. I think they changed the design of that zip. You've still got the old metal zip on here, but it just feels a lot more dodgy when opening it, and there's a chance of damaging it. As you can see, I have changed this to use the HEPA filtration bags. So that was the case, just leaving the hose on and then just getting this heat resistant tape and changing the hose down the bottom to a new hose with this connection. The bag and handle system changed, so we've got a better hook system on this for your lead and also for the bag system. This was a few improvements that Kirby made from the Heritage 84 or Heritage 1 to the Heritage 2. First, we've got a small portable head. We also got an indicator belt light. The Heritage 2, we came with an on-off light as well. It still kept the ratchet pivot assembly that they've been using since the Classic 3. One of the major differences was Kirby did away with the Sunny Emptier and you got this new Kirby style mini emptier. Now the advantage of that was increased airflow. You've got the new style Kirby bags. They were paper bags at that time. They were a lot easier to get a hold of, and even now you can use the HEPA filtration bags in your Kirby Heritage 2. Now Kirby did keep the design of the Heritage 2 onto the Legend 2. They changed the colour design on there. We've still got all the same features, but they did redefine that motor, giving it a little bit more airflow compared to the Heritage 2. You can see there's quite a few differences between the Classic 3 right up to the Legend 2. Now my advice, just going off the upright alone, if you're just going to buy an upright alone, then I'll probably go for a Legend 2 or a Heritage 2, purely for that ease of using those HEPA filtration bags. The brush rolls are replaceable in all of these, and they do use the same brush roll from the Legend 2 way back to the Classic 3, so Kirby still keep these available for you to purchase. There will be links down below if you do need a new brush roll. Now when we look at the Classic 3 and the Tradition, those safety switches are becoming a lot harder to get a hold of, so that could be an issue in the future. But the Classic 3 with that shakeout bag or with the conversion that I did to it, it has got a lot more power than the Legend 2, and also comes pretty close to the CFM or airflow of what the latest Kirby is, which is the Avalir 2. But we'll be running through the advantages of all the tools that came with these machines and probably what's the best one for you in 2023 to run with that Kirby. Now they are interchangeable, all depends on where the safety switch is fitted. And don't forget, if you use the video today, there are links in the description below for the best place to get those Kirby products, so make sure you check those out at the end of this video. Alright, so I've showed that quick rundown of the Kirby upright. Now I haven't gone through the tools, I will be showing that in a following video, the advantages of the tools and the way the tools change over time. In my opinion, the most powerful Kirby out of all those is the Classic 3. If you do that little conversion, and I'll put an icon above linking to that video, you can get the equivalent of the CFM and airflow that's coming out of a Kirby Avalir 2. You haven't got the tech drive on there, so they're going to be a little bit heavier. Now the issues I've had with these machines overall, I found the Heritage 84 was probably the heaviest for some reason. Whether that's the CFM on it, the CFM wasn't as powerful as the Classic 3, but it just seemed a lot harder to push when I was using it on wool carpet. The Legend 2 and the Heritage 2 just fly across a breeze. The Classic 3 seems to work fantastic, and so does the Kirby Tradition. It all depends whether you want to go straight to the Kirby with the HEPA filtration bags and no additional cost to conversion. But if you want to convert it to the HEPA filtration bag, it's pretty easy to do. You just got to lose the look of that Sunny Emptier and upgrade it to a newer version of the Kirby bag and filtration system. Now, for those of you looking at stripping down your Kirby Tradition, Classic 3 or Legend 2, check out this video next. And now for those of you looking for the best Kirby to buy in 2023 with tech drive, check out this video next. So thanks for watching, happy cleaning, and I'll catch you in the next one.